Hello and welcome to Respect the Ball. It's your boy K. I'm back at it with your group stage previews. We're still in Group C and we're doing Morocco, the Atlas Lions. You know. So yeah, guys, as always, like, subscribe, turn on post notifications for more World Cup content, and obviously share this video. Let's get it. Yeah, we start off with Morocco here. Morocco, which I think personally, let me just start off with my opinion. The most overrated team, African team for sure, most overrated team here. I have people saying Morocco is repeating the semifinals stint or they can go all the way, they're favorites. Did you guys not watch that AFCON final? Maybe I watched a different game. Morocco, they aren't that good. I know it was partly to blame with Walid Regragui. I don't know if I'm saying it right. Negative football, but he was still unbeaten for like 100 years. So it was working and came. I'm not all that impressed. They scammed their way again in that World Cup. What is it? 2022 World Cup where they were defending with like 10 bodies. No, 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 no. I just don't think they're all that. But obviously here I'm going to preview and do I think they can make it far in this World Cup? I think quarterfinals is probably the limit, in my opinion. I know in the recent friendlies, they're doing well, and obviously we have to touch on the coaching situation, which is a big one. They sacked, or he left on his own accord, one of the two, Regai, and now they have Wabi, Mohammed Wabi. I don't know how to say his name, but under 20s coach. I didn't watch that under 20s coach, but what I've heard of him and the data I've gathered and the matches I've been following for Morocco, he's the friendly against Paraguay, to be specific. Seems like in what I've heard, seems like he's gonna play attractive football. It won him the world title, the under 20 world title last year. So it should be interesting to see what he does, and if they go with a different stuff from Regragui, will will it bring them more success in tournament football? I don't know. So I people some people always think grass is always green on the other side. I don't think it is. I think this team is suited to play, with their system, but they want to go for it. They want to take the next step. Please check out my Group B preview. I describe Switzerland as a team that wants to take the next step to being a top nation. I think Morocco is looking that way. And they do have the pieces. When I call them overrated, I'm not saying they're going to do badly or they're a bad team. On paper, they're a splendid team. If you look at the pieces that they have Ashraf Hakimi, you know, they have, who can I say? Who's a key player for them? I don't want to just mention any player that I know. I want to mention a key player who will help them a lot. You know, they still have Azadine Unahi, who looked like the World Cup was just, those World Cup guys that just lie to you. They play well during the World Cup, then don't appear again. Probably him. And obviously have the star player, Brahim Diaz, the best player in the AFCON, you know. So they do have Hakimi and Brahim Diaz are world beaters. So they star players, so they should be able to carry them far. They still have Yasin Bono, who's a solid goalkeeper in my accord. So, you know, this team has the pieces to get it right. What I think they're lacking, obviously, they're lacking a natural left back. They do have Salah Eddin, but I don't think he's gonna play. I think they'll play Mazraoui, who can do a solid job. They rate Mazraoui high. Obviously, I'm kind of biased towards Mazraoui. He plays for my team, but solid. He does a solid job at left back. They have Ezalzouli up there, who had a good season qualifying Real Betis for the Champions League. I love Bilal El Kanous. I just think he's a silky player. Will he start? Question mark, question mark. And what I think they lack the most is a clinical striker. I know Al Nassr is there, mates. Al Nassr is just, if you're not putting in crosses and you're trying to link up play or press, that guy ain't it, man. And his finishing is also questionable in my accord. They have that other guy, who was it? El Kabi, who was scoring bangers in the AFCON, his ass, or just tournament, football. Yeah, I forgot what happened to that Olympiacos guy. I forgot what his name is. Where is he? From the data I gathered, I don't think he's gonna start. Why is he out of favor? Maybe the new coach is not really fond. They have the Budadi. Is that how you say it? The new guy that just just pledged allegiance to them. Sorry for saying it like that, like switched nationalities, you know, for them. They do have the bank, they do have the depth, you know. That's why I think they, in this group, I see them as the second best team. I know Scotland has some players, but considering what I've heard about the coach and the players on paper are certainly better than Scotland, I do expect them to go past them and beat Scotland and obviously the whipping boys, Haiti. But can they make it far? That's the question that everyone maybe wants to know. I don't think personally they can, but I think they can easily make it out of this group. They can frustrate Brazil. Pen for pen, I don't think they can go with Brazil, but they can frustrate Brazil and maybe scam a win, just like they did against Portugal. So, with that being said, in conclusion, I want to also, before I conclude everything, I want to also bring up the lineup. Let me pull up the lineups. I forgot to pull up the lineups. You know, Bono, obviously, we touched on it. We touched on the fullbacks. The centre backs are also an issue. With their chemistry, Diop, I think he just now pledged allegiance. I don't know why I'm saying it like that, as if, pledge allegiance. I feel it. Anyway, you have Halal. I don't know who the hell that guy is. I've never seen him play, Diop, I know Issa Diop, obviously. Fulham. Solid defender, he could do well, I didn't trust Romain Size, but he did a job in the 2022 World Cup, you know. And in the midfield, I think it's time for Amrabat to be dropped to the bench. You know, I know he played for Man United and all. I'm not biased towards him. Never fall in love with a lone player, and I certainly did not. I think it's time. I think El Anawi, I saw a bit of him in that AFCON final. Played well, no problems with him. Unahi, can he do it again? Can he do it again? Scintillating football again. Then you have the front three, which it was maybe hard for me to gather the front four actually, Brahim Diaz, obviously, okay, that's a main staple at the 10 position. I think he starts. They're both wingers, he could go with other options. I know Ezal Zuli was a favorite under a guy, and he seems to be playing him in the friendly, so I think he starts. El Canous should be within a shout, Stuttgart qualifying for European football, doing well there. Then, without an out and out striker, and what I've seen and gathered from the data through the friendlies, I think Saibari, who should be a new Bayern player as I'm recording this, I think it is here we go with Bayern. I think he'll play as a false nine. Or he could play El Canus as a false nine, but El Canus actually drop into the midfield. He could go many ways with this, but I think this is the lineup he's gonna go with based on the friendlies and the data I've gathered from this coach. Not much data to look into. It's just two matches really against Ecuador and Paraguay, which they won and they drew the Ecuador match. So looking at this, I think, in conclusion, basically, I think this team goes through this group easily. You'll see obviously what I think of them in my bracket predictions. But this group should be a breeze for them. For me, it should be a breeze. Aside from Brazil, when I say breeze, I mean like aside from Brazil, I'm not counting Brazil. Like they should breeze past Scotland. They should breeze past Haiti and actually go through. Depending on the matchup, they can actually go through to the next round. So yeah, that's it, guys, on Morocco in Group C. As always, please like, subscribe, turn on post notifications, and please share the video. Share it to your uncles, aunties, to your brothers, sister, everyone. About my Kelwan, everyone, guys. And as always, don't forget to be in the comments, guys. Drop a comment. I read the comments, and I will be there live in the comments. And as always, peace.